So a warm welcome to everybody today. Welcome to the 10th webinar in our series, our 1,000 Farms webinar series. My name is Rachel Chase from the Alliance of Biodiversity in CIAT based in Montpellier, France. And I'm scientist and knowledge sharing specialist for the 1,000 Farms project. And I host these bi-weekly webinars. So I would like to introduce today our speaker, Dr. Theophilus Tengey. He's a plant breeder leading the CSIR Savanna Agricultural Research Institute's Cowpea Improvement Program. He's been involved in the release of improved cowpea, sweet potato, and groundnut varieties using the Tricot method. And today he'll show us how, compared to traditional mother-baby trials, the Tricot approach using the ClimMob platform made it easier for him to test the performance of candidate crop varieties in northern Ghana. So I will now stop sharing my screen and you can start sharing yours, Theophilus, and begin your talk. Okay, that's great. We see it.
Yes. So good day, everybody. Yeah, so I'm Theophilus Kwabla Tengey, as you already mentioned. So I'm presenting here on-farm testing in northern Ghana using the Tricot approach, the successes, challenges, and the way forward. The triadic comparison of technologies, popularly known as the Tricot, has recently been used to select best varieties for use by farmers. This method basically allows us to test three sets of lines, three sets of materials at a time by a farmer under their own conditions. And Van Etten 2011 proposed the Tricot approach to solve some of the problems that the current participatory varietal selection methods have. Some of these weaknesses include evaluations as snapshots, bias as a result of assessments with a rating approach, uncoordinated and duplicative efforts in trial design and data collection, and then lack of comprehensive geographical coverage. So compared to the mother-baby trial, the on-farm testing method of on-farm testing, the Tricot approach makes the design of trials simple. It makes us reach out to more farmers, and the process of data collection and analysis is very, very simple. I'd like to mention some of the advantages of this Tricot approach. It has enabled the testing of our candidate lines in several farmers' fields, and it's very easy to implement with little training. And we have YouTube channels, or we have videos online that you can go in there to learn how to design your trials using the ClimMob platform, and also do the randomization, all of that, and how to go about the whole process. Everything is available online. This process, this Tricot approach does not require any sophisticated equipment. You only need tablets, or if you the field agents who are helping you with the data collection, they use smartphones. It becomes very easy. And you, the project leader, you need a functional laptop. And the most important thing is to get everything right from the design of the trial in the ClimMob. The ClimMob platform makes it easy to design, observe progress of the trial, and also data collection in real time. And when the field agents submit the data, you can check to see if there is any error, and you'll be able to correct anything there before you close the trial for data analysis. The system also rejects any false entry of data and allows the researcher to access submitted data before trial is closed prior to analysis. As already mentioned, analysis is very simple, and it also it generates an automatic report for you you don't have to sit down to write any long stuff. It writes everything for you, but you have to go in and then read it and also modify it in your own way. The on-farm data is safe and easy to access. It's always available. The trials I conducted in 2021 is still there. Anytime I need any information, I just go in there, click on it, and then I get it. So it has a data storage ability too, which is very helpful. So I'd like to mention some of the successes. CSIR, Savanna Agricultural Research Institute, started this Tricot with the sweet potato program. And in 2021, the Cowpea and the groundnut program, through the Avisa project, was able to implement the Tricot approach. And we've been able to release two cowpea varieties, Sarituya and Tujevalenga, which are climate smart. And we've also introduced new crops such as the sorghum and millet to this approach of on-farm testing. The groundnut program has also been able to release some varieties, Savanna 3, 4, 5, and 6, using the same approach. So the cowpea varieties that we release based on the data from our on-farm approach using the trichots. So this variety to my left it has large seed size, it's early maturing, it's good very fast, and that's what the farmers want. The one to my right is very early maturing. Both of them are resistant to striga, and this is what most of the farmers selected, and by a wide group of farmers selected this, and my recent visit to the fields, you could see that most farmers just want these materials in their to be part of their farming systems. So the question is, how did we do this? So first of all, you need to know the number of farmers you are going to reach out to. You need to know the candidate varieties you have, the materials that you want to disseminate. You also need to ensure that you have enough quantities of seeds to send out to the farmers for testing. And also, you need field agents. So once you have your field agents, everything becomes easy for you. You generate all of these and then you get your data. So what we are seeing here in this image here is the locations of the farmers where the farmers are testing the cowpea varieties. And actually, I was told this is not the exact location. They give you some meters a little away so that for security reasons. But this tells us how our trials are distributed. Then to my right, you see the varieties that were used in this trial. Yeah, in 2021. So, right, when we consider a number of traits, we ask farmers a number of questions at the vegetative stage, check the vigor, the replanting, the survival, resistance to pests. Also at the reproductive stage, we also ask some questions, resistance to striga. We also look at marketability and all of that. And since the farmers are given three lines at a time, the comparison is between these three genotypes. And based on the ranking method of analysis, the software is able to select the best materials for us. And we could see from table 1, it's telling us the top 3 varieties based on traits. So after we collected everything and the analysis is done, the software is able to tell us the best 3 varieties which have been selected by the farmers across. So for example, overall preference, which is in this figure, this table, you can see overall preference was IT10K 817-3. This was one of the varieties that was approved for release which I already showed. In terms of resistance to disease, yeah, the farmers were able to select this particular line, which was also, so we combine the on-farm data with our multi-location data. We also have some nutritional data. So this data helps us, it just gives a support to the varietal release process. The groundnut improvement program led by Dr. Richard Otten Frimpong, he also here in CSIR was able to conduct testing on farmers' field for candidate materials. And you could see how dispersed the farmers' fields are. And also, we also have an image telling us when they started the data collection, like we started with 100 farmers. Are you still ending with 100 farmers responding by the end of the experiment? Yeah, so we have this figure showing here to the extreme right. And the preferences of the varieties by the farmers was also shown. So here we have the log width. So with the log width, it estimates which the relative probability of the material that the farmers prefer. And it has ranked all the materials, and it's based on some of these data that he was able to release some of the varieties which are currently being cultivated by farmers. In Tricot, we need to engage farmers, and this is us engaging some of the farmers who have been helping us in selecting the varieties. Of course, there are challenges. Implementing or using the Tricot approach is new, and we've had some challenges, and some of these challenges were addressed during our first evaluations, but some are still persistent, and we are trying our best to solve them. First of all, one, insufficiencies and delay in seed delivery. So example, last year we were expecting to have the trichots on some farmers' fields, but we were, for some of the crops, we were expecting a partner to deliver some of the varieties to us. Unfortunately, they could not deliver this, and so things have to change. So there was a change in plan for that particular crop. Yeah. And when you don't have enough seeds, you cannot reach out to the farmers. So though the plot sizes for tricot is very, very small, you, the breeder, need to really know the quantities of seeds you need. So there needs to be some planning. Once you get this right, you'll be able to reach out to as many farmers as possible. And most of our smallholder farmers are not literate. So we need the field agents who can speak English, who can read, because the questions we are asking them, which is on the tablet, no, they cannot be able to read it by themselves. So we need agricultural extension agents, field agents. And then the researcher, so this me here, speaking English, whilst the field agent is interpreting in the local language. So the researcher also sometimes have some barriers in some language barrier. Okay, so there are several languages here in Northern Ghana, and we can only speak few. But when you go to the next community, it's a different language. So we need the field agents in all of this. Some of the communities are not easily accessible and have poor internet connectivity. So with internet connectivity, that problem comes when you enter a community and there's no internet, and you need to register a farmer. If you need to register a farmer, the software tells us that the software will require the GPS coordinates, which it automatically picks the GPS coordinates. And if you do not have internet, you'll not be able to access it. Last year, I didn't have any reports of this, but the first time we started this using the Tricot approach, there were several reports, and they cannot get the coordinates and all of that. Once you're unable to get the GPS coordinates, you cut off that farmer from the subsequent data collection. And I don't know whether it has been resolved, but I think it's a key thing. Recently, I visited some farmers, and they are in a border town. In these border communities, you don't have internet connectivity. Our field agents are not well resourced, and most of our field agents come from the Ministry of Food and Agriculture in Ghana, and they are paid by the government, and they have specific districts they work in, and they are not being given fuel to conduct some of these work. So if we want to test our varieties and we engage them, we need to resource them. We need to give them fuel to visit the communities, and we need to motivate them. And like you could see in this picture, this field again needs some motivation because it's helping me interpreting, it's helping me reach out to the farmers. And it's also going to help take the data on the farmers field. But that data is based on the farmer's response that he's going to record all of those things. So this field again needs to be resourced. We also encountered a problem of droughts last year. We had droughts at the beginning of the season, which delayed planting. And so, but some places have some rains, and so trials have to begin. And then at the end of the season, just getting to the end of the season, there was drought. So it also affected the yield for some of, so we could not take yield data for some of the crops. So these things are bound to happen. They are there, and then there are challenges which also affect our experiments. Yes. And we in this testing, we give materials to the farmers for testing, just few kilos of these materials for the farmers. But when they harvest, they also need a token. They keep it. Most of them keep their materials. And uh, what I want to say is that these materials need to be approved by the National Varieties Release Committee before they are being given out. But obviously, we can't prevent the farmers from keeping it. Some keep it. The reason why farmers keep it is they like it, and so they want to continue to plant it. So it has some advantages. Our varieties are already in the hands of the farmers. We don't have to come back again, go through the long process. So this approach of on-farm testing, though, is good. It makes the improved genetics get into the hands of farmers quickly, but then there needs to be that approval process. Yeah, so yes, so I also want to mention the process is this though compared to the mother baby trial, I've read in literature saying that the mother baby trial is more expensive. Uh, but I would say that the Tricot approach is you're able to reach out to more farmers, but we also need to incentivize the the field agents. Without incentivizing them, we will not be able to reach out to a large number of farmers. So there's still some money or some funds that is needed to continue doing this on-farm testing. So new efforts, though we've released some varieties, we want to continue this work, and we've trained the sorghum and millet breeding programs. They are new to the on-farm testing, and we were able to involve 761 farmers to select best performing materials for us. We also engaged 79 field agents and who were trained in the field layout and data collection. And this year, we are going to train the other crop groups at the CSIR, sorry, especially the soybean program on how to implement these tricots. So this is a summary statistics of the number of field agents we engaged in last year's trials, and the number of farmers, and the number of varieties we tested. For cowpea, we tested 15 varieties. This includes checks. We engaged 250 farmers. and then the field agent, 25 field agent. So this 25 field agent, so one field agent per district. That's how we did that. For granules, the same procedure and all of that. Since sorghum and millet, they were new to the Tricot approach. They started small so that they will learn. So I'm hoping that we're going to do more this year. So these are some of the training sessions we had last year for our field agents. Most of our field agents are males. Yes. We had a couple of females, some other locations. Yes. And some of the copy Tricot fields, as we can see, usually for us, we like to label the fields A, B, and C. Okay, so these are some of the pictures from, and also weighing. So our field agents who are coming from Ministry of Food and Agriculture, they have some skills. So when the farmer harvests and keeps the produce, field agents go there to harvest, to go there to weigh. But you could see they are all using different type of skills. Weighing, you have the digital, you have the analog, and you have this type. So it's okay, we are still able to get our yield, but it's something we need to think about and then see how to bring in some consistency. So for our groundnut fields for trichots, yeah, you could see some pictures, and for our sorghum tricot fields led by Dr. Ken Opario Bobi, he's the sorghum breeder. He was able to help us to test some of his materials. Yeah, these are some pictures from his fields. And then Dr. Peter Anasogri is the pearl millet breeder. He was also able to implement the tricot approach last year. Yeah. I'm hoping that this year they'll be able to engage more farmers. So from our work last year for cowpea alone, I want to just present for cowpea for now because of time. So trait by trait, we were able to identify materials that are outperforming the check. We have Saritia and we have Tujivalenga. So you look at the germination, you look at the vigor, replant and disease resistance, so the ranking. So based on all of these, we are able to tell which material is the most preferred by the farmers. So the comparisons was made against the two varieties that we recently released, the Saritria and the Tujivalenga. This year, we are planning to repeat this experiment so that next year, we'll be able to release some new cowpea varieties for farmers. Farmers are very excited about this approach because they are involved in the selection process and they are always happy to see new varieties in the system. So the way forward. So for us, I would like to say that the Tricot approach of on-farm testing has come to stay, and on-farm testing will continue for cowpea, groundnut, sorghum, millets, and other crop groups we have in CSIR. Soybean will also be implementing their Tricot. I'm hoping to see indigenous crops or any other crops, going in for this approach. We are hoping for continuous support to cover cost of operations for hardworking field agents and supervision of operations for successful implementation of Tricot on a yearly basis. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Theophilus. That was very interesting, nicely done presentation. It's nice to see the different crops that you've been able to apply the Tricot method to. So I'll open the floor to any questions. Just please raise your virtual hand or put your question in the chat. While we're waiting for questions, I have a first one for you, Theophilus. Did you find any interesting, clear preferences among the socioeconomic data that you collected, like by gender or by youth of the different varieties?
Yeah, so uh, truthfully, from the socioeconomic data that I went to last year, I didn't look at the socioeconomic data, but I was much more focused on the selection by the farmers. But that data is still there, and I can go back to that. And then,
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't do analysis. Though it was analyzed, I didn't study that aspect and make any comparison. But I was much more interested in the selection. Yes,
Hmm.
I have the demographic of the farmers, male, female, and their educational level and all of that. And I want to mention that the socioeconomic data that was included is recent. It's recently that they brought in that socioeconomic aspect. The first Tricot we didn't have that socioeconomic data, and it was when I started, when we were implementing it, that I saw that there's a socioeconomic, and then I made the AES ticket. And it's a good data, which I think will help. I'll have to team up with my socioeconomic team here in SARI to see and also compare whatever is in there. Yeah. Thank you for.
Yeah, no, that's good. We look forward to hearing about that. Okay. Any other questions? Don't be shy.
Hello.
Yes, Lewis, go ahead.
Thank you. My apologies. I can't find my hand. I'm failing. Sorry.
It's okay. Go ahead.
Yes. Now, I would like to thank Dr. Tengey for an interesting presentation. And my question is, he said that some farmers are keeping and multiplying varieties that are not released or that are not successful in the tricot. I guess so. Why would the farmers keep these varieties and continue to multiply them if they don't have attributes that the farmers like? What causes the farmers to do that? And also, what plans do they have to stop farmers from doing that, since the tricot is supposed to continue?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much, Louis. Thanks very much for your question. Yes, so the farmers are just given 3 sets of varieties at a time to test, and they compare it against what they have. So to the farmer just keeps what they feel is the best for them. And the reason why they are keeping it is because they feel it's better than what they already cultivated. That's why they are keeping it. And just some few days ago, I heard that one of the farmers is producing that particular variety because we coded them. We call it ABC, and they don't even know the name, and they are producing it. So I saw it as a challenge because we are supposed to pull the results together and then analyze. And then the National Variety Release Committee must also approve, okay, before we give it to them. But this is not within our control. If the farmer decides to choose, but then the good thing is we always say these are candidate varieties, so they are potential varieties. At that stage, they are supposed to replace the existing variety. So if the farmer sees it to be good, fine. And unfortunately, the cowpea is a self-pollinated crop. So there's nothing we can do. They'll keep it. If they're able to keep it while and replant it, it's fine. But if it's a hybrid, then they have to come back to the breeders. And even we encourage them not to keep their to save their seeds. We encourage them to always come back to the breeders, go to the seed companies, and then get improved seeds. It's because with time there's always mistakes coming in, and this affects the performance. Thank you very much.
Sorry, and what do you think in future or should be done to stop farmers from applying varieties that are not yet released? Do you think there's something that can be done?
Yeah, so you see, so what we can do actually, most of the farmers contribute to they consider keeping the variety as a token. So if we decide to give them a token for the work taking care of those small plots, we are paying them for it. If we pay them for it, then we will take those those seeds. So, but we do not have the money to pay them, and so most of the farmers consider that as their reward. Yeah, so it's something that we can discuss on in one of our meetings, and then see how best to prevent some of these things.
Okay, thank you for that. It sounds like it's a difficult challenge. So I have Peter had his hands up, or his virtual hand up first. So go ahead and unmute yourself, Peter. You can turn on your camera if you'd like and ask your question.
Yeah, thank you very much. I just wanted to find out, is it a technical question? What's the ideal number of varieties or lines that we need to put in Tricot? Because there was this issue, and if we are going to introduce any farmer variety or local check, would the check come from a researcher or farmer? If it gets to the farmer level, we have different type of local checks. So what do we do? Just additional information I want to say that for the pearl millet, we have already distributed listen to the farmers. We are ready to create the work and the works distributed to the farmers. It's just that, like you mentioned, we're currently having some drought. So as soon as we get the rains, the farmers are in rains. As soon as we get the rains, we'll go ahead and do it. So I just want to know the ideal plot size, the ideal number of varieties of line that we need to put, because when depending on the kind of, if you bring farmers to the field, you do an evaluation, and then you have only that result. Sometimes it becomes a bit of a problem. Varieties are very big. So this one is
Yeah. So, Peter, yeah, thanks very much for your question. It's good you asked this question because we have the experts, Kyle here. So normally for the tricot, for cowpea, we just need 5 rows by 5 meters plots. The plot size is not so big. So when we were trying this tricot, all the crop groups sat together and then agreed. Okay, so we met with the designers of the tricot, and then we prepared a protocol. For example, for cowpea, we prepared a protocol for cowpea. A protocol was prepared for groundnuts by all the groundnut breeders in West Africa or wherever together. So I'm sure with the pearl millet, with the pearl millet breeding program across West Africa, they all sat down and then agreed. So there's a standard. So that standard is there, and I will have to see how best we can get that standard so that we will follow that strict plot size for tricot implementation. Thank you very much for the question.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to the next question. There was Juvatine. You can unmute, turn on your camera if you'd like, and ask your question. We don't hear you yet. Okay, I think you might be having problems with your microphone. I see you're unmuted, but we don't hear you. So yeah, we'll maybe come back to you, Juventine, and then we'll go to Kenneth now, who has his hand raised.
Okay,
Go ahead,
so
Kenneth.
thank you so much, Rahel,
Sure.
and thank you, Theophilus, for that presentation. So mine is not a question, but then just to make a follow-up or a comment on what Louis raised. So yes, in as much as the issue of farmers retaining the test material is a challenge, but if a variety is really preferred by farmers, then it's most likely going to land on or be given the approval for release. And one of our challenges over the years had been adoption rate of new varieties. And Tricot, with the coverage that it has also helped with farmers' awareness creation, making varietal acceptance very, very much faster. So so far as a variety that is going to be released is already in the hands of farmers, it accelerates the adoption rate for us. Now, the challenge will come in when we are talking about hybrids, because then with hybrids, you don't expect the farmers to regenerate those lines that they have. Again, when it comes to things like that, what we have to do is sensitization and education to be able to create the awareness at the farmer level so that they will know what to do. Thank you so much, Rachel.
Thank you.
Yep.
Do you like to follow up on that with anything?
No, I think it's part of my group members, so yeah, we are together. Yeah.
Okay, thanks very much, Kenneth. Juventine, are you able to try again with your question? Hello? I see you're unmuted, but I don't hear anything. If you'd like to just put your question into the chat, then I will read it out. That might be easier. Okay, well, I don't see a question coming in. So let me just ask one more time. Are there any last questions for Theophilus today? Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much, Theophilus. That was very informative. And I'll just share my screen and let people know that they'll be able to find this video on our community website if they missed it or know somebody who would like to see the talk. So these are our online resources, our project website, social media, and the last address there is the community website where you can interact with people working with Tricot. So please go to that site, log in, become a member, and you can have access to resources, including these videos. So we thank you so much, Theophilus, for sharing your experiences today with us. We learned a lot from them, and we'll see you soon and see you all again in a couple of weeks for the
Okay.
next webinar.
Okay.
Okay.